Imagine waking up on a freezing winter morning, but instead of being greeted by bitter cold, you're enveloped in perfect warmth. This everyday miracle was impossible until one forgotten genius changed everything. In 1855, in the brutal cold of Imperial Russia, an Italian immigrant named Franz San Galli was about to revolutionize how humans live by taming winter itself. Born in 1824 to a modest family in Lombardy, Italy, Franz San Galli's early life gave no indication he would become one of history's most impactful inventors. As a young man, he left his homeland with nothing but ambition, heading north to the last place most Italians would choose, the freezing empire of Russia. St. Petersburg in the 1840s was a city of extreme contrasts. Magnificent palaces and broad boulevards showcased Imperial Russia's power. But winter transformed this grand city into a deadly landscape where temperatures regularly plunged to -30 degrees Celsius. San Galli arrived as a simple clerk, but his sharp mind and entrepreneurial spirit quickly set him apart. He established a small brass workshop, focusing initially on simple metal products. But living through the brutal Russian winters, he couldn't ignore the primitive and dangerous methods people used to heat their homes. The wealthy huddled around elaborate but inefficient tile stoves, while the poor relied on open fires that often led to deadly accidents. Every winter, thousands died from cold or fire-related incidents. San Galli observed all of this with an inventor's eye, knowing there had to be a better way. The challenge San Galli faced was monumental. For centuries, heating large spaces had relied on the same basic principles: open fires or enclosed stoves that heated air directly. These methods were inefficient, dangerous, and required constant attention. The wealthy used traditional Russian tile stoves, massive structures that dominated entire rooms. While beautiful, they were incredibly inefficient, taking hours to heat up and providing uneven warmth. The poor faced even grimmer choices: crude metal stoves that either left them freezing or risked deadly carbon monoxide poisoning. San Galli's workshop initially struggled, competing against established manufacturers in a city where connections meant everything. As an immigrant, he faced skepticism and prejudice. Many questioned whether an Italian could understand the unique challenges of Russian winters. The technical challenges were equally daunting. Creating a heating system that was both efficient and safe required solving complex problems of heat transfer, water circulation, and pressure control. Every failed prototype drained his limited resources. During development, he faced constant setbacks: explosions from pressure testing, leaks that ruined entire test spaces, and materials that couldn't withstand the extreme temperature changes. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced a heating system failure in winter. It's something San Galli was determined to prevent. San Galli's breakthrough came from a simple but revolutionary insight: water could be a far more efficient carrier of heat than air. In 1855, after countless experiments, he unveiled his masterpiece, the radiator. But this wasn't just a new product. It was an entirely new way of thinking about indoor heating. His design used a series of connected metal columns filled with water. When heated from a central source, the water would circulate through the system, releasing steady, controlled heat into rooms. The genius lay in its efficiency and safety. Unlike traditional stoves that created hotspots and cold corners, San Galli's radiator distributed heat evenly throughout a space. The impact was immediate and dramatic. Here was a heating system that didn't require constant attention, didn't fill rooms with smoke, and maintained steady temperatures for hours. The first public demonstration in his St. Petersburg workshop drew skeptical observers. including government officials and wealthy property owners. As they watched, the radiator transformed a frigid room into a comfortable space, maintaining an even temperature that none of them had experienced before. The invention was so revolutionary that Tsar Alexander II himself took notice, granting San Galli an exclusive patent. His workshop soon expanded into a factory, producing radiators that would transform buildings across Russia and beyond. If you're enjoying this story of innovation against all odds, make sure to like and subscribe for more forgotten genius stories just like this one. Despite revolutionizing indoor heating, San Galli's name gradually faded from public memory. Several factors contributed to this historical oversight. As his invention spread across Europe and America, various manufacturers modified and marketed their own versions of the radiator. Patent laws of the time were inconsistent across countries, making it difficult for San Galli to protect his invention internationally. The political turbulence of late 19th century Russia also played a role. As tensions grew between the Empire and the West, the contributions of foreign inventors were often downplayed or ignored. When the Bolshevik Revolution arrived in 1917, many records of imperial-era innovations were lost or deliberately destroyed. The standardization of central heating in the 20th century further obscured individual contributions, as radiators became such a common feature that few questioned their origins. American inventors like Joseph Nasson and Robert Briggs are often incorrectly credited with inventing the radiator, despite their innovations coming years after San Galli's breakthrough. By the time of his death in 1905, San Galli had witnessed his invention transform cities, but he likely never imagined how thoroughly his own story would be forgotten. Today, as you walk through any city in winter, you'll see buildings that would be uninhabitable without San Galli's innovation. His radiator didn't just heat rooms, it revolutionized architecture itself. Before the radiator, buildings needed thick walls and small windows to retain heat. San Galli's invention allowed for larger windows, taller buildings, and more open floor plans, literally shaping the modern city skyline. Every time you feel that familiar warmth from a radiator on a cold day, you're experiencing the legacy of this forgotten genius. His story reminds us that the most transformative innovations often come from those who understand a problem deeply and personally. In his case, an Italian immigrant who learned to master the Russian winter. The radiator's impact extends far beyond comfort. It enabled the development of hospitals with better infection control, schools that could operate year-round, and factories that could maintain consistent production in any weather. Perhaps most importantly, it democratized warmth itself. What was once a luxury for the wealthy became accessible to ordinary people. Next time you adjust your heating or hear that familiar ping of a radiator warming up, remember Franz San Galli, the forgotten genius who turned the dream of reliable indoor warmth into reality. If this story of innovation and perseverance inspired you, hit that subscribe button for more tales of forgotten geniuses who shaped our world. And let us know in the comments, what other overlooked inventors should we feature next?